buckle up, cornball. We watched a lot of movies this month for the month of May. Let's just jump right into it. I started this month off with The Manchurian Candidate. This is a film from the 60s with Frank Sinatra. I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie before until this. Korean War movie. It's about, like, a communist kidnap a bunch of soldiers and try to brainwash them into becoming communists. I did not get a whole lot out of this movie. I just found it kind of boring, to be honest. It was definitely a movie of the time. There are good ideas. I was going to say, it reminds me a little bit of Seconds, and it's actually the same director as Seconds, John Frankenheimer. It's fine. It's a solid Cold War movie, I guess. 6 out of 10. Then I watched Passenger 57. Basically, Die Hard 2, but with Wesley Snipes playing a very annoyed to be on camera character. It's a cliche terrorists take control of a plane and guy's gotta save the day, except he really does not like being in the movie at all. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to go off of. It's Die Hard 2. They got terrorists take over a plane. It's Air Force One. It's a 4 out of 10.
So then I checked out with my girlfriend Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This is a slow burn lesbian romance. So I was actually supposed to watch this a long time ago because if you remember, I took a screenwriting class and scripts. This was one of the scripts that we read. I didn't read it because I thought the class we were having it for was a workshop. So this is a long time coming, but I loved this movie. Instead, we love being edged the whole time. It's because it is a very slow burn. That being said, the character work is excellent. They cast it so well. I mean, I love their dynamic. Their romance is enthralling and genuine. There is a little bit of the only thing I can really criticize is that there's like this maid character who kind of gets a little more screen time I think she really needs, but it's not too much and it isn't really enough for me to really call it all that attracting. Overall, it's an excellent film. 9 out of 10 from me. In lieu of the new one coming out, I decided to check out the 1939 Wuthering Heights. So I haven't read the book. I do know that Heathcliff should not be a white man, and in both this and the new one, he is. For a movie from 1939, its camera work is really a lot of movement. There's much more than you probably expect.
Interesting.
Actual dynamic between Heathcliff and Catherine in this one is kind of flip-floppy. There isn't really much setup for when she, turns on him. The weird thing about this one and the remake is that I like the first part of this one, but I don't like the first part of the remake. In both, obviously Heathcliff and Catherine meet as children. They develop a relationship when they were young. In this one, it feels a lot more natural and kind of whimsical. I kind of felt for both the characters more. In the remake, not so much. But I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, but it definitely don't expect great character stuff here. The book is obviously better from what I've heard. Rating this one by itself, it's a 4 out of 10.
Then we watched Grease, every boomer's favorite movie. I hated it from beginning to end. It was insufferable. I hate John Travolta. The music is very
not a good movie.
It's sexist, it's misogynistic, very white-coated movie. I gave it a 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 for me as well. And then we watched Bowling for Columbine.
This was my third time watching it. This was your first. It is... I've seen almost all of Michael Moore's documentaries, and he's a very interesting documentarian. I've always kind of referred to him as like the Howard Stern of documentarians. Just because he kind of pushes, and I've seen some people say he's kind of annoying in his documentaries, which I'm not going to argue that. That can sometimes be true. But I think Bowling for Columbine is his best documentary, and it's also one of the most relevant of his documentaries.
Yeah, and as much as we wish it wasn't, its commentary still...
The movie came out in 2002, and it is still, nothing has changed.
I particularly love the, just how in-depth they went with the history of, our country with violence, and how we've, how our systems like the media represent these incidents, and how the people who report it are disingenuous, and how we've consistently done nothing. Like you said, it can be made today, and it probably wouldn't even be that different. All I can say is see for yourself. I feel like my words can't do it justice, to be honest with you. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It was my first time seeing it. 10 out of 10, which I saw earlier.
Yeah, it's our first double 10 out of 10 this year. Then I watched Kiss Me Guido. This was directed by a guy named Tony Vitale, and Tony Vitale was one of my professors this past semester. He started out as a location manager for You ever heard the movie A Bronx Tale?
Yes, that one.
He was a location manager, and he also directed the opening shot of the movie. And then after that, he wrote and directed this movie, Kiss Me Guido. It premiered at Sundance, and then it got bought by Paramount for $2 million, I think he said. The thing about this movie, it is about... So if you ever heard of, like, The Odd Couple...
I used to watch that. Yeah,
show from the 70s, and there's also a movie. But it's like that, but it's one straight guy and a gay guy. It's fine. It has a really good soundtrack, which is something he has said is a big part of his movies. The characters are a little, I mean, like I said, it's the odd couple, but with a straight and gay character, and it's very stereotypical. It feels very one-noted. It's definitely a movie of the time. There are certain words that are said. But yeah, it's a solid movie, I guess, and you know, for a directorial debut getting bought by Paramount, that's pretty sick. I gave the movie a 5 out of 10.
And then I checked out the new Wuthering Heights. In terms of Emerald Fennell and I mean, I have seen Promising Young Woman. I did quite enjoy Promising Young Woman. This one, not so much. In fact, I rated it the exact same as the 1939 Wuthering Heights, but I like them and dislike them for different reasons. I prefer the childhood section in the 1939 film because it feels more dreamlike and whimsical. There's a cute moment where Heathcliff is like, I'll be the king and you'll be my queen. It's like, it's romantic and all that, but that's not really here. The foundation of their relationship is a lot looser, and you don't really see like the whole like childhood like at the start. But again, Heathcliff is a white man, this time played by Jacob Elordi, with Margot Robbie playing Catherine. I do think that Catherine is written a lot more consistently in this one. Her turn on Heathcliff isn't really... It's not really the same. Heathcliff actually does some pretty messed up stuff, which does justify a little bit more this time around. And again, didn't read the book, so I'm not sure how similar or different it is. I don't know how to say it other than he's kind of freakier in this one and not like in the scary way compared to the 1939 one. I will give it this. The sets and the scenery are gorgeous. It is an aesthetic treat. I do think that Catherine and Heathcliff do have a little more chemistry in this one. I'd say check it out if you're devilishly curious or if you're going to be comparing it to the book. Same with the 1939 one, but overall, 4 out of 10 again.
Then I watched Diva. This is a French psychological thriller. It's fine, but my main problem is... Have you ever seen Leon the Professional? The weird pedophile movie with Natalie Portman? It's kind of like that. My favorite part of the movie, it centers around this like opera singer, and her scenes are really good. They're shot really well. She sounds great. But the rest of the movie, no. I have it rated as a 6, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Then I watched Exit 8. For those not familiar, it is an adaptation of the game Exit 8. It's like an anomaly game where you're walking around a subway tunnel and you're looking for things that are out of place so you can get out. It's kind of a strange thing to adapt into a movie, and it kind of works. The first 10 minutes of the movie are my favorite because it's shot in like a POV, and I really wished the whole movie was like that because it would have been a lot more immersive. It's also just a little frustrating to watch. It's like backseating someone who doesn't know how to play a game, except it's a movie. It has good ideas. I feel like that's what I've been saying a lot today. It has good ideas. This is the other weird thing about it. There's like a weird subplot where, and then throughout the movie, he has like these weird images of like children following him around, and like he has like this weird like vision of her, and she's like, I don't want the child. The movie kind of implies that he kind of makes her have the child. It's a little strange, and I don't know why that's really in this movie. I also feel this movie could have benefited from being a short film. The Exit 8 game probably takes about 30 to 45 minutes to complete, and the movie is about 95 minutes. Yeah, Exit 8 I would give a 6 out of 10.
Then we watched The Crow. I believe this is a rewatch for you, correct?
Yep, this was my second time watching it.
Before anything else, rest in peace, Brandon Lee. Man, just like there's a lot to love about his performance and this movie, but at the same time, it is kind of, I think, a little more for like the vibes and the action. I really did enjoy like how comic booky this one felt. Yeah, like this one, its aesthetics and its style definitely carry it, I think, more over its story. Not that there's nothing to kind of chew into with it, but the story exists as a motivator for like the action scenes. Kind of the grunts and the boss fights, if you will, are all entertaining and a good time. I can't lie when I said I really didn't really remember too much after seeing this.
Yeah.
Like, I remember obviously Brandon Lee's performance. Keith David's always fun no matter what role he's in.
Tony Todd is cool. The movie's also a little cartoonish at times.
For what it is, it works. Enough for me, at least.
There's some like weird compositing.
Shots.
There's some weird, some like CGI. Like you had said, it is a little forgettable. 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Then, as a special treat, Quentin came out here to Chicago because he missed me so very much, and we watched a bunch of movies while he was here, starting with Birdman. Birdman is great, despite a couple things that are a little weird about it. I do like the movie a lot. I love the one-shot cinematography. I love the jazz like soundtrack.
The percussionist carried a lot there too.
I would love to have like a drummer just following me day to day. Michael Keaton is great. He's great in a lot of things. He's really good in this. He has moments of being good, and then he has moments where he's probably playing himself. Emma Stone, she's there.
I mean, she doesn't do bad, but her character kind of is only given so much screen time, and her development with Norton's character is kind of cut off abruptly.
Yeah, and it also just doesn't need to happen either. It's a guy who just wants to escape what he was formerly famous for. There's also just really good scenes. I love the scene where he's like just walking around Times Square in just his underwear. Yeah, and there's also like scenes where he's like flying in the city, and I think it's very good. It's not perfect for obvious reasons, but it is still very, very good, and I gave it a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's an 8 out of 10 for me as well.
Then we watched Dream Scenario. This is a movie I had never seen before, but I've owned it for a while because it was really cheap on Amazon one time. Yeah, I didn't like it. It's very Ari Aster coded, and that's because he fucking produced it, and I do not like Ari Aster's work at all. First of all, I don't really care for Nicolas Cage for most of the movie.
Yeah, his character, I mean, he plays an old professor who is desperately trying to like make his work on ants. Like he's trying to like publish his research, a book, yes, which if I remember right, he didn't actually write yet. I mean, his character was kind of like to me a bit more of like a vessel for like this crazy idea. Like I think he kind of had to have like a normal guy to juxtapose such a crazy.
It could have been anybody.
Dream scenario. It could have really been anybody though. Nicolas Cage, like he's kind of held back here.
It goes down a really weird route, like halfway through the movie.
Yeah, like his character is like he's in people's dreams, goes into people's nightmares. He has his problems as a person, obviously. He does basically cheat on his wife, and I do like how after that, like the story does like punish him for that, but not directly for that. But yeah, I mean, I really did like the dream sequences though with the students. Like those were fun. I kind of wish there were more of them.
It's too ambitious of an idea.
5 out of 10 for me.
Yep, 5 out of 10. Then we watched South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. This was my third time seeing it. This was your first. The movie is crazy because it came out like during season 2.
Which is pretty effing early.
Yeah, it's very early on, and actually I think I mean that helps a lot. It has a better charm, I think, if it was made like the Simpsons movie was. The movie itself, it's great. It's really fun. I have no issues with a lot of it. Story's pretty good. Animation's great.
Yeah, it's just a really fun movie. Obviously, the creators were making fun of like
many
Christian,
people,
like, censorship. Many people.
Yeah,
like,
its main story is about ultra rights, censorship, like things like the MPAA.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Yeah,
it is a musical too.
It's a musical, which is really interesting. I never would have thought it would go in that direction, but that's great.
But I think it kind of worked.
It worked.
Like, and I think they took an opportunity once they were given a bigger budget to go a little bigger. And you know what? There were a couple songs which I don't think there's really a song that doesn't work in this. Yeah, it's a fun time.
It's a very fun time. It's an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Then we saw Obsession, a movie that everybody has been talking about, and for good reasons. Then we watched They Live. This was, for both of us, a rewatch. I honestly liked the movie a little less on a second time.
Me too.
The message of the movie's great. I love this. There's really like 3 scenes of this movie that I actually like. And it's the scene where he puts the fucking glasses on. The fucking 10-minute fight scene. And the scene where they're like wandering around the fucking like headquarters. That's kind of it. That's all I remember. There's like the first 30 minutes of it is like really, really slow. Those 3 scenes are all I really remember. The movie has a great idea for a story, but it's so like I think the best way to describe it is this isn't really like, it's a very thin, loose story. I was about to say that there's not really a 3-act structure, but I mean there kind of is. It's just super loose. Roddy Piper, he's fine. He's a good person to have for the fight scene because he was a real wrestler. Otherwise, yeah, it's a good movie.
It sucks how, like, over time this movie's been appropriated, like The Matrix and Terminator. It's just this movie. It's about Reaganomics and the Reagan era and alt-right ideology. And that being said, though, as much as we both love the commentary, its story is a little more loosely threaded than we were both remembered.
Yeah.
It is not a bad movie. I still find it, of course, the beginning with the fun performances, it would have to be a while for me to see this again, but I would rewatch it again.
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
As do I.
Then we watched 1 Hour Photo. This was my second time. This was your first. And I kind of liked it more on the first time around. Robin Williams' character is great. I wish he got the chance to play a lot more psychotic roles than he did. He's so good as, like, a villain in this movie. One thing I don't really like about it is I don't really like the acting of, like, the family that much. I mean, the movie is a little cliche, I guess.
I really wish he played more, like, morally gray and morally, like, darker characters in hindsight, because he pulled it off really well here.
You forget that he's Robin Williams.
He's so like expressive in the face, but he's so reserved and holds himself back a lot here. It's almost like his face is held back by, like, chip clips, and all he can do is just, like, he can only, like, move his mouth and a little bit of his eyebrows sometimes. But I also love the fact that, like, his job, like, it plays into the nature of his personality and how much of a stalker he is. He quite literally had this family's lives, like, in his hands. He watched the kid grow up, and he grew, like, this unhealthy attachment to them. And
which is such, like, a really interesting idea for that, because it's never really been done in that kind of way before or since.
This is still so good, and I think you liked it a little bit more than me.
Yeah.
I still really like it, though. I would love to chat about it with other people if I get the chance. Yeah, it's like a really strong, like, 7 out of 10 from me.
I would give it a 8 out of 10. Then the last movie he watched before he went home was There Will Be Blood. This was my third time watching it. This was your first. I love it. It is... I will say this, I did like it less than I did the second time, but it is still a very, very good movie. This movie would not work without Daniel Day-Lewis. If Daniel Day-Lewis was not in this movie, it probably would be a lower rating. Because yes, the pacing is very slow. It is really interesting. I think how his mind works in the movie is super interesting. It's a character study. I said in my review, he's like the original Donald Trump. The kid is fine. It's a good thing he doesn't. It's a good thing he doesn't talk or hear for about half of the movie. I love how it was shot. I love the music, and of course, it's a PTA movie. It's directed very well. Besides the pacing, I don't have, like, a whole lot of bad things to say about it.
It's a very slow and deliberate movie, and it's one of those stories that you really have to, like. There's some points of the story I feel like I kind of didn't really know where it was, like, kind of going. It's one of those movies that requires a lot of trust and patience from the viewer to just kind of see it through, and in the end it does, like, make sense, because Daniel Plainview, he's playing the long game in this.
Yeah.
A very, very long and deliberate game that has a lot of risk involved and does cost him. Some of that shit does come back to bite him a little bit, but yeah, Day-Lewis, I mean, it's a dead horse to call him a good actor. Like, he's amazing in this, and this is, I haven't seen many of his performances, but this so far is my favorite. Paul Dano was really good in this too, playing, like, both Eli and Paul Sunday. I do agree this probably is my favorite performance from him. Definitely his best movie that I've seen him in so far. I think I do actually prefer, like, Punch Drunk Love, to be honest.
Yeah, I do too.
It's so good, but I can't personally give it anything above, like, an 8. That's because I just don't really ever want to rewatch this.
That's fair. I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Then I watched, over the course of 3 total sittings, The Wind Rises, which I think tells you a lot just based off that. Its story isn't bad. It's interesting as, like, a historical drama, seeing, like, these engineers wanting to just make planes, but they're forced to make weapons of war. They kind of keep mentioning it, and then there's some scenes of, like, the planes, like, obviously in the war.
That's the same story as a Robin Williams movie.
I'm Robin Williams, here on the world's largest soundstage at 20th Century Fox. That's right. This entire wheat field is in one building. I'm here tonight to talk to you about an incredible movie. Toys!
There's a movie called Toys that came out in, like, the 90s, where he works for a company that makes toy figures. But then they go to war, and suddenly they want to make, like, war toys.
Well, I know that The Wind Rises is about, like, an actual, like...
It's based on a real person.
There's some pretty good character work, but it's kind of, I would say that the relationship between the main character and the love interest is a little underdeveloped. Their chemistry's good, but I just kind of didn't care for them as much as I think the movie wanted me to. Their theme is beautiful. The music in this is really good. It's a Ghibli movie. Of course, it's gorgeous. It's so far probably my least favorite I've seen though. I learned a little bit. It was kind of cool seeing a movie talk about like oh, these planes used to bomb America. It's like, oh yeah, I lived there. That's funny. I don't think it's bad. It's just kind of a little underbaked. 7 out of 10 from that one. Then I watched Companion. Before Obsession, it was this and a couple other movies which can kind of be in this new like it's not an actual genre yet, but it kind of is in like the incel horror, quote unquote.
I had a friend that said that Obsession reminded them of Companion.
Companion, it's similar in the sense that it's about a man basically removing the agency from, in this case, not like an android. By the way, the dialogue at the start is very cheesy. It's like not very cheesy. It's like very on the nose with it.
God.
He calls her Beep Boop. That's her nickname. I don't think it's not a bad movie though. Look, it's not bad. It's just like it's kind of really obvious that she's like, you have to, when you listen to the dialogue, you really pay attention to it, you kind of see it coming, especially when you ask her about the weather and she's like, it's 72 degrees with an 83%. Why did the percentage there? Jack Waite's character, he's a lonely, pathetic man. Orders Iris, who is Sophie Thatcher's character. She is a companion bot. They aren't meant to have any sort of dreams or goals beyond loving who their owner is. Yeah, Josh basically puts Iris in a position where she defends herself. It's very normal, but then they tie her up and like almost shut her down, and then she escapes. And it's this whole thing of like she has to like kill her boyfriend or friends from there. It's pretty solid. It's a fun time. I wouldn't say it's like as strong as Obsession because I think the commentary is a lot better executed in Obsession, but if you like what Obsession did, you'd like this one. But for it is, I give it a 7 out of 10. Last but not least from me is Men. I was told to watch this one kind of a little, like back when it came out because of who I am, but I thought the title was just kind of a bit stupid, so that's what turned me off. I do think this is better than Companion in the sense that there's a lot of like really interesting symbolism, beautiful imagery. Like for a horror movie, this has some of the most like, they're bright and they're beautiful colors. The movie takes place in the fictional village of Kotzen. It's on the English countryside. Dude, I would get away there if there wasn't a bunch of freaky whack jobs hanging around there in this movie. Like, I would happily take like an Airbnb there for like a week or whatever. But in terms of like the actual story, it's about a woman who, following her husband's suicide, she goes there to heal, and she does anything but. She runs into this one individual. They represent like this like entity that can kind of shapeshift and transform, and a lot of uncanny and scary shit happens because of that. It is pretty slow for a little while, but it does pick up like after the like tunnel scene at the start. Those who have seen the movie know what I'm talking about. Once you see that, the movie kind of starts to find its grounds more as a horror movie, I think. It's good though. I think it's got some pretty solid stuff going on. I gave it like a 7.5 out of 10 if I give it the decimal. I don't think it's as good as an 8, but I'd give it a watch if you haven't seen it.
Then we both watched separately the new Backrooms movie. I was a little disappointed by this movie. I had seen the trailers, before it came out, and I knew beforehand that it was going to be a lot of... For those who have seen the Kane Pixel series, you will know that 90% of it is VHS, and that's... I don't know. I think that's what makes the Backrooms scary. The movie is mainly a bunch of live action stuff with like 20 minutes of VHS things, and the VHS parts are the best parts of the movie, 100%. I didn't really care that much about Clark or his problems or the therapist who kind of just suddenly becomes the main character randomly. I like how the posters have her up front and center when she's kind of not really the main character. The Backrooms looks so wrong in HD. It's like a fucking like modernization of the Backrooms. The story could have been better. I know Kane didn't write it. It's obvious that like the writer as well as the producers had their own ideas of the Backrooms, and then they all just kind of just blended them together, and it just didn't work. I wanted more focus on Async rather than, like I said, I don't give a shit about Clark at all. None of the characters were interesting. I wanted to know more about Async. I wanted that to be the focus. I did not get that. When they're like actually roaming around the Backrooms, especially with the VHS, it's where the movie really shines. My favorite is the fucking Christmas tree. scene, and I wish the movie had more like that. I don't know. To me, this is not the Backrooms. This is like a studio version of the Backrooms. It feels like the heart is gone, which is really weird to say because it's directed by the guy who made the series, but again, he didn't write it. There's a couple little Easter eggs of like lost media songs being in this. Ulterior Motives is a very famous lost media song. Yeah, I just feel like this movie steered way too far from what the series was doing. There are parts of the series where it is just like a random person just walking around the back rooms, like what Clark is doing. I don't know what it is. It's like I think it really does have something to do with the fact that it's like not VHS. It needs to be VHS for it to work.
You know what the funny thing is?
What?
Is that I kind of like that async wasn't the biggest focus.
Interesting.
I actually, like, okay, so I get, like, obviously, I don't think the character work is the best here.
No.
But I do think that was the better call. You're gonna hate that I'm gonna compare it to this, but I feel like if it went full, like, lore drop like the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it really wouldn't have gone very well.
You know, in the theater, I was actually kind of thinking, it's like, is this going to be the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
I've seen, obviously, the original King Pixel series. I love it.
I love it.
Great.
It's great.
However, I do like that this movie does act a bit like a jumping off. It acts like an introduction to the Backrooms in this format. Obviously,
Sure.
see the original series. What the FNAF movie failed at was, if I didn't know what FNAF was, I wouldn't care about people like fucking William Afton or any of the bullshit. But in terms of the Backrooms, though, I didn't. It's not that I didn't like. I don't think they totally didn't work. That being said, they could have been a lot stronger. What I was really worried about was that the Backrooms would just be like a gimmick, that they would just be the separate thing for the main characters. I'm glad that they kind of were connected in a sense. And Clark went there, you see a lot of furniture. There's a lot of aspects of his personality in his store, like, lingering around there. The fucking monster, sorry, spoiler, but the monster is his pirate-like character in the ads.
I'm gonna be so real, I didn't like that part.
Seriously?
That pirate looked so fucking stupid. In the dinner scenes where they have, like, I think it was like, what, 2 different characters, like, in the background that are,
like the still lives?
those I liked a lot. And I really wish the pirate was more like that. Because the pirate, that did remind me of like Five Nights at Freddy's a bit.
I guess I like that it like such like a tangible threat with like how tall it is, because if I remember right, that Robert.
But the idea of the Backrooms is it's not supposed to be tangible. It's supposed to be like a figment of like a memory without the details.
Is the reason why stuff like cosmic horror is so hard to adapt. When something's incomprehensible, like how do you make a story out of that? Like I understand, I get it, and I do prefer the Backrooms as like an analog horror that is like served you in bits. It's relied a lot like on you paying attention and looking like into the devil in the details. But for a movie, I'm just not sure that would have been the best movie.
The thing about like, because you said that it wouldn't have worked if it was like the found footage or the analog horror thing. There is one of the episodes in the found footage series is like 45 minutes long, and it is so riveting to watch the entire thing that could definitely work as a movie. Sure, it would be a very experimental film. If this was like like Warner Brothers or Universal, I guess I understand why they made a more like, I hate to use the word, but like safer studio version of the Backrooms. For an A24 film, it could have experimented more.
That being said, though, they still built a lot for the Backrooms.
Like, the sets are fucking amazing. It's so impressive.
Yeah. I think to me it's interesting having like the VHS and analog like presentation than the HD movie presentation, because I like the way, I do understand that like the grain and the hiding of detail is important for the series, but I really like that when they bring it to HD, they stretch the focal length, that the place feels a lot bigger, that they give it like, sure, the detail is up and you see more, but it feels really long and still like unnatural.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I can understand why you think that.
They feel deep, they feel endless, and that's kind of the point of the Backrooms. Like, it's supposed to be this giant complex that is made unnaturally. Like Clark was saying, it's made by 12 different architects that didn't talk to each other. Or the better metaphor is, it's like asking someone to draw a dog without
that line. They repeat that line like 3 different times, and by like the second or third time, it's like, okay. You gotta stop.
Yeah, I guess to me, like, even though the character work could have been a lot stronger, particularly with the therapist, I still like that they both their character arcs are fulfilled at that dinner scene.
Yeah.
Clark isn't willing to change. He isn't willing to take responsibility for what.
I do
he
like
did
that
to
scene a
cause.
lot. It's a very good scene. It reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I like that even though her arc is weaker, it still comes to the conclusion that she can't save everybody. She beat the monster with the rock was also a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
I don't know. And to compliment the set design one more time, like the fact that they had like objects like shifting into the ground and into each other was like it looked so good. The Backrooms itself, besides obviously your preference on whether it's presented in HD.
It's the same thing as like Cloverfield, where it's like the first Cloverfield movie is a found footage movie, and then the sequel is suddenly not.
I think both this and Obsession are still very strong outings. I think they're both debuts for them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, Obsession, in our opinion, is better, but I still think this one is worth seeing. 7 out of 10 from me.
It is. It's very close to a 5, but I will give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, that's everything we watched in May. June, I don't know what June's gonna be like. It's
nothing but gay movies.
yeah, it's Pride Month, ladies and gentlemen. Go out and celebrate. Be gay, do crime. Bye bye.